What's going on, Fight Family? We back at it. It's your boy Gus. I'm here with my boy Rich. This is the SlugFest, episode 2. This is the aftermath of the Devin and Ryan fight from last night. We're going to touch base on that. We're going to touch base on some upcoming fights and a little bit of NBA playoff news. Man, I had to talk about my Knicks. So, Rich, anything? Want to go ahead and talk to the people real quick before we jump into it?
Nothing other than my prediction came true halfway. You know, the big fight going the distance, but I predicted a knockout. But
we're gonna get into your exact predictions in a minute, but right after this, we'll come right back and jump straight into the show. Y'all tune in.
I'ma need an encore. Scream to your throat sore. Why you think I ain't the go for? I can't go to 10 toes. At the top, you on the 10th floor. It's over, holla 10-4. I'ma need an encore. My swag, you would die for. You can quit, but no, I won't. Diamonds on my neck, man, this gotta let you lie for. Haters, they can die slow. I'ma need an encore. I'ma need an encore.
Yo, we back. What's good, big dog?
What's happening, man?
I can't call it, man. It was a crazy yesterday, man. We had NBA playoff going on, boxing matches going on, man. So we got a lot to talk about today, man. So I figure we'll dive straight into it, man. I got to shout out my Knicks, man. New York Knicks got it done, game 1. Jalen Brunson didn't have the best game, but, nonetheless, we ended up getting the W. Big Mitchell Robinson, he was a beast inside. Deuce McBride was doing his thing, so I'm excited about that, man.
I feel like the biggest contributor for game 1, he wasn't even on the floor. That's Julius Randle, man. That was the best thing that happened.
Hey, man, why y'all always hating on Julius, man? That's my boy right there.
I didn't know, so y'all good, man. As long as he don't touch the floor of the series, y'all got it.
Hey, you gotta show my boy some love, man. But I just wanted to show them a little bit of appreciation, man, before we jump into this boxing, man. So, I figure we'll start with the undercard, man. It was pretty lackluster. Only fight I was kind of looking forward to on the undercard was Arnold Barboza. He was fighting, I think, a British cat, McCombs. Never seen him fight, but it was an interesting fight, Barboza was a big-time favorite. Should have won the fight going away, but McCombs, he came in and did his damn thing, man. He was a real slick boxer, showed some good defense. He was moving around the ring. I just didn't expect Barboza to have that kind of trouble, man. Couldn't get to him, couldn't lay a hand on him. Really didn't make any adjustments in the fight, man. What did you see from that undercard fight?
Pretty much after the 5th round, Barboza got frustrated. Like he came in there with the mentality like he was gonna walk through McCombs, and by the 5th round, he seen that you're gonna have to work. McCombs was making him work for everything in there, and how he got the victory that's one of the big problems in boxing. So where like you can watch something with your own eyes and clearly see that this man won, but then someone else come out on the other end and just give it to Barboza. I don't understand that. Like I don't, but. It wasn't the only robbery on the card. The judges was tripping last night. We'll get into that a little later.
Yeah, man, that's, boxing is starting to get a black eye, man. It's been fight after fight to where, they just don't get it right, man. It was pretty obvious. I thought that, Barboza lost that fight. I know he's up and coming in the 140 division. He was undefeated. So they probably just want to see him get some big fights coming up in the future. So I can see the reasoning behind it, but at the end of the day, man, these guys risking their lives in the ring. The man win, man. You gotta go ahead and give him the dub, man. Be on the up and up.
They was fighting on the zone. He's an Eddie Hearn fighter. It was like he had that extra nod, like, man. So yeah, it's sad, but McCombs he boxed his ass off last night, and it's gonna go down in the history books as a loss. That's crazy.
Yeah, so even though Barboza got that win, I think his name kind of took a hit. So they might need to slow him down, give him a couple more stay busy fights, let him get some more experience before they put him in there with any dogs, because I can't see him beating any of the top guys at 140.
No, I mean, not right now. No, not the way he looked last night.
Exactly. So, man, getting to the big fight, man. Let's go ahead and talk about it, man. I think we'll start with the build up, man. How did you feel about the build up to the fight as far as fight week? And
I loved it, man, because I knew what was going on. The people that was unaware of what the entertainment was, I was looking at it like wrestling. You know what I'm saying? They getting up there saying crazy stuff. It was entertainment, but they was gonna get in the ring and fight. But it was all just build up to get more eyes to it and all that stuff. And people got carried away with what Ryan was saying rather than the reason why he was saying all this. I'm saying these things so you'll look at me. Hey, look at me. Look at this. Look over here. And people just got carried away, and they got led astray thinking that he wasn't focused on getting the W.
Exactly. Man, I've been telling you for weeks, man, that Ryan was playing a couple games with Devin, man. I kept referencing when Sugar Ray went out there and fought what's my man name?
Duran.
Yeah, when he fought Roberto Duran, he took a page out of his book, just started, insulting him, doing a lot of things outside of boxing to try to get in his head and, force him to get into a slugfest. So Ryan definitely had a game plan outside the ring and inside the ring, which, we'll touch on that in a second. But I think, he had everybody fooled, man. Everybody in the public thinking, is Ryan going crazy? Does he need some help? And, the whole time, I think that was a part of his team's plan. Overall, I still thought they could have made a better decision as far as where the fight was at. I would have rather seen it in Vegas or somewhere on the West Coast, but for what it was, I thought it was a pretty good event. It looked like it was a good crowd in there. They kept it dark so you couldn't see that upper level, so it might have been a lot of empty seats. But from what I could see and what I could hear, man,
it was a packed house, man. It was a packed house. You go look at it online with the people up there that was in the nosebleeds that was watching on the main. It was a packed house, and I'm saying like they gonna do about 300,000, 400,000 buys. That's what I'm projecting it to be. More than what people are assuming. I don't know why. I mean, we got people all around the world watching it because Ryan Garcia is fighting. You can go through and look at the celebrity reactions. And you got people like Jake Paul, all the YouTubers across the world, everybody watching it, man. So I'm pretty sure he got some buys last night.
Hey, it's crazy you say that. I was going to segue into the pay-per-view buys, man. I don't know, man. I'm still kind of in the middle on the pay-per-view buys. Like, I feel like it should do good. There was a lot of talk about it on different podcasts. It was on all the sports shows. Social media was talking about it. So from an exposure standpoint, they definitely got the exposure. So it should be a lot of buys. But, this day and time, people plugging in those 5 sticks and still in the fights at the same time. So you just never can tell with the pay-per-view buys.
It didn't do 1 million, but it did. I think it did at least 300,000 just off Ryan's name and also the little popularity and stuff that Haney had gained in recognition and the back and forths and all the social media stuff. So, I mean, I give it that at least. I could be a little wrong. It could have did a little under 300,000, but I'm projecting over at least 300,000.
Hey, I can see that happening. I appreciate you coming in, RB Bandit. Yeah, it was lit on the East Coast, man. We on the East Coast as well, man. Out of North Carolina to be exact, but yeah. It exceeded my expectations. I might as well go ahead and say it definitely exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect the night to go the way it was, just based on the fact of how sorry the undercard was. But the main event made up for everything, man. It definitely made up for everything.
Yeah.
Jumping into the next part of the conversation, man. I wanted to talk about legacy versus superstardom. I think both of these fighters, very talented fighters, but they're kind of going in different directions as opposed to their professional careers, at least in my opinion. When I look at Devin Haney, I think Devin's really about legacy, racking up belts, trying to have his name solidified in the Hall of Fame one day. And when I look at Ryan Garcia, he's more of a superstar. He's going to take the big fights. He already has the name. He has the followers, you know, he got the backing. So I don't think belts and legacy are as important to Ryan as it is, you know, Devin Haney. So what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm gonna say it in my Shakur Stevenson voice, man. The belts are dead. The belts is dead. Like the belts is dying out, and we're seeing it now to come to fruition with two of the best fighters out there right now, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, really not giving a damn about the belts. And not to take away from the belts, but the belts did it to themselves. Y'all put so many of them out there to where y'all made a champion, not a champion. That's a champion. So it's like, I mean, it's the belts are there for y'all to get sanctioning fees and the state y'all's mandatories and to prop up who you want. That's what the belts is getting exposed for. Because the boxing doesn't need the belts. The belts need boxing. And that's what it's like.
Hey, and I think, you know, some of the sanctioning bodies are starting to realize that, man, because, you know, there's been a lot of talks of dissolving some of the belts. You know, some of the super champions and regular champions are going to end up fighting each other just so they can do away with having so many belts. And, you know, like you say, watering down the sport to where we don't know who the best is in certain divisions. So definitely doing away with them belts is going to be huge. But still, man, talking about legacy, man, Devin going for legacy and Ryan Garcia going for the superstardom, that also played a big effect to the lead up to the fight. You know, Devin was fighting to get his weight down, trying to make 140 so he wouldn't lose his belt on the scale. And, you know, I think that kind of played against him going into the fight. You know, Ryan came in, you know, the last 2 weeks, he probably was more set on just feeling healthy, feeling good, feeling strong, so he could come into this fight, you know, at full strength. So even looking at it from that standpoint and the game plan there, I think it went well for Ryan. I think Rich just stepped away for a second, so I'm going to keep going until we get back. But y'all let me know if y'all agree with that, man. You think that played a big part into the lead up to the fight, man? Devin looking at it from a legacy standpoint. Ryan already knowing he's a big star. You know, I got millions of followers. I'm just going to get this money while I can, and I'll get the big fights when I can. That's kind of how I looked at it, man. You know, Bill Haney, you know, he was real vocal before the fight. That's pretty much Devin Haney's mouthpiece, talking about everything, you know, hyping the fight up. I thought he did a good job of promoting Dev as a whole.
Sorry about that, man. Had a little
good? It's all good, man. It's all good. Got you back. But now I was just telling him just to give you a context of what I was just talking about. That even talking about legacy and superstar leading up to the fight, if you look at it, I'll say the last week, maybe 2 weeks of the fight, Devin was fighting to make sure he was going to come in under 140 or at 140 so that he wouldn't lose his bet on the scale, as opposed to the last week or two for Ryan. You know, he was able to be more comfortable, say, hey, I'm going to come in strong. I'm going to be as big as possible. And, you know, I'm going to give myself the best chance to win. And I ain't worried about the belts at all because regardless, my name going to ring bells and, you know, I'm going to get the bag.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, it's either on the scale with the sanctioning bodies, either you're going to pay them fees for wearing the belt or you're going to pay them fees for coming in not weighing the weight class for the belt to the other fighter. And a lot of fighters much rather get paid for pay the fighter than pay the sanctioning body right now. That's what it's really looking like because there's no point in paying y'all and y'all ain't doing nothing for the fighters. The sanctioning body don't promote you. They don't do nothing for you. They pretty much they can line you up for failure, set you up. So I mean, yeah, I'm all for this breaking it down. I think we only need 2 belts per weight class, man. And then we can have interns to decide challenges and stuff like that. But 2 belts per weight class, man. That's how it should be.
Yeah, if we was able to do away with belts, you know, and cut it down to 2, I think it would be good. But I don't see us getting any less than 4 belts, you know, with the 4 major sanctioning bodies. I don't see any of them dissolving and, you know, kind of coming together. So at bare minimum, at least one belt per sanctioning body. And, you know, we don't have all of these regular champions, super champions, intercontinental belts, and, you know, just everything else that's in boxing that's watering down the sport. So, big dog, man, you know, let's jump straight into it. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the floor, man. Give me your fight breakdown on exactly what happened, man. First, tell me know what you thought. Give us a rundown of what you thought was gonna happen, and then break down what you actually seen happen.
I mean, what I thought was gonna happen was a fight getting up out of there real early, first or second round, in my beginning predictions. But as I watched the fight, it came to be that. But Ryan hurt him early, and it kind of knocked Devin off of his game plan. And then Ryan, I felt like, was setting him up and just preparing to explode on him the whole fight. And he just dominated and used his speed and power. And I figured it would go that way because I felt personally Devin Haney didn't have nothing to deter him. And I felt Devin Haney was a hyped up fighter, and he didn't do anything but beat up on a George Kambosos twice and get a bullshit W in the Lomo fight, and then beat up a unskilled Regis Prograis and stuff like that. And I felt like people put him out there like he was going to turn into this boxer. He wasn't. Like he was going to stand toe-to-toe and run through Ryan. And it just wasn't a smart game plan. And I feel like a lot of it goes on Bill, because Bill got into Devin's head and made Devin fight unlike Devin, and not like how Devin Haney would have came out there. That's what I feel like. He was out there fighting for his dad and himself, but his dad had him out there on that killer mentality. And then after he got hit, his dad didn't tell him to adjust or nothing. He's still out there going for him. Mm-hmm. And I'm honestly disappointed that Bill didn't throw in the damn towel as the fight was going on and on. But I can see why he didn't throw in the towel when we got judges out here that's scoring it as the bout as a tie. And so, I mean, my whole take on it was it was just domination, and Ryan set the tone, and he kind of put in place where Devin Haney stands in the Four Kings. And he damn near knocked Devin Haney out of the Four Kings talk now, to where we could put Shakur up there, because I feel like Devin ducked Shakur and ran from him. So, I mean, that's my take on the whole fight. And Ryan put in place a lot of things. And, Devin remains champion, but he lost a lot more than he planned on, and his fire. So I feel like the only thing left is Sandor Martin for him. That's it.
I got you. I agree with some portions of what you said. You know, I disagree with some of them. But before we get into it, I want to shout my boy RB Bandy back out. He said, facts. I agree with too many belts being when they came with the super belt, I was done, bro. Hey, I agree with you 1,000%, man. Hopefully they can clean that up. But like I was saying, I disagree with some of the stuff you were saying, but I agree with certain portions of it. As far as Devin's resume, I do feel like Regis Prograis was a formidable opponent. You know, he's a good opponent. So, you know, styles make fights. You know, Ryan just presented different challenges. You know, leading up to the fight, I felt like Devin was definitely the better boxer. My prediction, I thought Dev would get in, you know, control the fight, start beating up on him. It become too much for him, and eventually, you know, get him up out of there. That was my prediction going in my head. When I got to my heart, you know, my betting, what I actually bet on, I bet Dev would win the fight by unanimous decision. You know, I was basing that based off of history, man. You know, Devin's not really going to put people to sleep. So I thought in 12 rounds for the betting odds, I could win that way. But I also bet that Dev would get dropped once throughout the fight. But I thought he'd be able to weather the storm and come through with the victory. What I actually saw in the ring, when it came out, you could tell right from the jump, Devin was he just couldn't handle the speed. You know, he couldn't get the timing right. You could tell when Ryan was starting to press him and starting to put the combinations together, it was giving him trouble. You know, you could tell part of his game was going to be the clinch. I don't think in his mind he was thinking, I'm going to really box him tonight. I'm going to try to get in and mix it up a little bit inside. And then when we get too close and get on the inside, I'll clinch and get back to that mid-range area where I can do a little bit of work. So first round came out, you know, Ryan rocked him, had him a little noodle leg, so it let me know right there he really couldn't handle his power. But Devin was able to weather the storm. Second round, he came back. I thought he did pretty good boxing. You know, he was jabbing to the solar plex, jabbing to his head. He actually started hitting Ryan with his left hook. You know, Devin was connecting on the left hook. Actually gave him a nice shot in the left in the third round to where he actually hurt Ryan just a little bit. You know, gave him a little scare.
To that Luke Campbell shot.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Dev was mixing in, you know, some straight right hands was coming in there. So those rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, right in that range, you know, Devin was doing pretty good. I thought he was controlling the fight. You know, Ryan still had spurts where he was coming in and catching them. You know, what was consistent was every other time he threw that left hook, he landed it. You know, that was about 50% of the time he was able to land it. And I just don't think Devin could really time it the way he wanted to. And eventually, you know, his body gave. So 7th round comes around. Funny thing about this too, in the 7th round was they was actually interviewing Bill at the time, you know, asking Bill how he felt about the fight. You know, Bill was like, "Hey man, we came out strong, you know, feeling good." And immediately Devin gets hit with that left hook, drop. You know, that was the end of the interview. And from that point forward, man, it went downhill. You know, it went completely downhill. Ryan controlled the entire back half of the fight. You know, Devin may have had a couple of spurts where, you know, he threw a punch or two here, but there was nothing on it. You know, his legs were completely gone from when he got knocked down. He had no pop on his punches. I mean, there was a point in time in the fight. You remember when Ryan was doing this little show, I guess you call it the Philly shell, whatever he was doing. And Dev was over there just power driving him in his rib, you know, hitting him giving him liver shots. And Ryan was eating it for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was nothing.
He got that turtle shell, man. He got that turtle. You ain't getting to no turtle shell like that, man.
Yeah. So that, you know, that kind of tripped me out. I'm looking at it like, I'm expecting you to do big time damage at this point. You know, you need to go ahead and bust his spleen, you know, have his liver hanging out, do something. But once his legs went, he couldn't do what he wanted to do. But, you know, offensively, I thought Devin had a good game plan coming in. Like I say, he was working the jab to the face, working the jab to the body. You know, he mixed in the left hook and had a couple straight rights. But defensively, I mean, it was a total whack job. I mean,
what it was
coming in.
Ryan timed the jab, and Ryan kept catching him off the hook during his jab. Every time Haney threw his jab out there, Ryan would throw his hook, and you know his punch speed is immaculate, and he was beating him to it before or he would take the jab and he just give him the hook. And I said that first exchange was a jab and him throwing the hook through the jab. He caught Ryan, but he caught Haney more. So I mean, and Ryan caught his timing, and it was off in there. But like I said, I feel like Bill Haney, Devin Haney making weight, and Ryan's speed and power all played a factor in why this fight looked the way it looked. Because Bill Haney had him gassed up, and you come on, man, he wasn't fighting how he should have fought that fight. And then he lost the power and steam on his punches because of the weight. Like I knew it took a lot out of him, man. I could tell, man, he was looking like the Lomo fight. So that's how it was.
I mean, I agree with that analysis when you say that the weight draining and everything played a part on it. But at the same time, even if Devin would have felt a little bit healthier, let's say Devin came in the same weight as Ryan, the exact same weight, 143.2, he still would have had defensive issues. And, you know, his chin still would have been suspect. So it's like Ryan still would have landed those same punches. Maybe Devin would have had a little bit more steam on his punches. Maybe he could have took a couple extra punches, but they were still going to land, you know. It's like you've been calling him a one-trick pony the whole time to the lead up to this fight, but you couldn't even stop that one trick. You know what I mean?
They completely underestimated Ryan. And what it was like they took Ryan Garcia's whole boxing career and they took it and said, you are that fighter that Tank Davis fought. And like you can't judge him off that one performance or one fight. And that was the wrong thing to do, to think you're stepping in there with someone who's about to quit on the stool and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. It was just the wrong mentality, and I blame that on Bill. Bill did it, man. He was out here gassing him up, hyping him up, said, we're going to meet you in the center. He going to bang with you. I'm sending him to kill you. You should have sent him in there to box, and he would have outboxed Ryan. Ryan wasn't in there to box. But I don't even know if I can say that because Ryan looked crisp and sharp, man. Devin Haney won rounds 2 through 6 more than likely, but the rest of the fight was complete domination other than rounds 2 through 6.
Yeah, man. You know, I was thinking if he may have came out boxing and was able to dodge a few of those left hands on the back half of the fight, it probably would have fared a little bit better for Devin, because you could tell Ryan was winded. You know, Ryan actually should have got him out of there, even though the ref was, you know, kind of doing some funky stuff in that 7th round. But Ryan still should have got him out of there, but you could tell he was tired. You know, he was winded. So he probably did have some issues with his training camp, but just off of his natural abilities and stuff, you know, he was able to still have pop and fast hands all the way through the fight. So that fared well for him.
Yeah, I mean, we already knew Ryan's power carried over. Like, he's not like known for his stamina or nothing, but his power is still there. 10th round, 11th round, 12th round, it's still there. That's why I say he's a special fighter. Like, he's got certain attributes that you can't teach, and you just got to be blessed to have, because it's a lot that goes in a part. And that's another thing, how they try to downplay Ryan Garcia like he's not a talented fighter. Devin Haney didn't lose in no bum. So I just we want to get that clear. Like, and he didn't lose to no YouTuber. He lost to an Olympic fighter that he's been fighting since they were growing up. He lost to another talented boxer. That's all it is, man. And people try to make it more or less than what it is, and that's all it is. And you in boxing, if you fight the best, you're gonna lose.
Yeah. And I think that played a huge fight into it when you talk about their amateur background. You know, they were 3-3 coming into this. So Ryan had full confidence that even though he was an underdog, I can beat Dev. You know, I don't beat him several times before, so I don't have to worry about his power. So if I can just get to him, you know, I can make him feel me. So he, like I say, I felt he had a good game plan. I gotta take my hat off to Derrick James, take my hat off to Ryan Garcia. You know, the outside antics that played a part into it, and just the game plan that they took coming into the fight, man. Hats off to him. I was totally wrong, you know.
I just want to say one thing. How old was Devin Haney when this fight started? 25 or 26?
He's 25.
He's 25.
Both of them 25.
Ryan beat him into his 30s. So he's at least 34, 35 now. Because Ryan just beat him into his 30s. He knocked some time off of him. So, I mean, and I blame that on Bill too. Bill, you did all that, man. You can't fight for your son, but you know what you could have did for him? You could have used that towel beside you and stopped the fight. There was no reason for it to go on like that. He wasn't coming back or nothing. He was getting beat in there. Beat. Now he's 35. He's on his way out. That's why I'm looking at it, Bill, and it's your fault.
Well, I think you gotta look at another side of that from Bill's point of view. With Devin possibly winning rounds 2 through 6, you know, of course he got cracked in round 7. You know, it didn't look good at all. But if for some kind of way, if Devin wouldn't have been able to get himself together and maybe win rounds 11 and 12, we might have been looking at a possibility where it could have been a draw or even win in Devin's favor, just based off that. So I could. Yeah, I'm just saying, but it is still, you got to look at it. One of the judges had it as a draw, so you just never know with the judges. So I think Bill was looking at it like, hey, we did some work early. Maybe if I can get him back right, you know, and Devin can win a round, that's a possibility we come out of here with a draw. I don't think he was really looking forward once we got to the 11th and 12th to come out with a victory. But is there a way for us to maybe get this to a draw? And, you know, at certain points of the fight, it was close enough to where I could understand that thought process. But at the same time, you know, I get where you're coming from, too, to where, you know, you start to take some punishment. So it's kind of both sides of the fence. And then don't leave this factor out, too. Rematch. You know, if you want to have a rematch, it's probably better technically going 12 than getting stopped and looking for that rematch and stuff. So, I mean, there's a couple factors I think played into it.
Ryan said ain't no rematch. He going to 147.
I mean, Ryan said a few things after the fight. He actually put on a post that he wouldn't mind rematching Dev. I mean, that could be at 147. You know, that might be something they agreed to do it at 47. He's been talking about Conor Ben, been talking about Sebastian Fundora. So, you know, he's been talking about a couple of different things. We'll just have to wait and see. But just talking about why Bill didn't throw in the towel, I can see why.
I don't see a need for a rematch, man. It was complete domination. You don't have nothing for him. Like
Nah, I can't say that. I disagree with that premise on it because if Devin won at least 5 rounds of it, that means at least from an offensive standpoint, his game plan, he still had something he was doing right. Maybe if you look at it, it wasn't like Terrence Crawford and Spence to where Spence really didn't have any success in that fight. Devin had some success, so I could see a couple of adjustments, him feeling a little better, and Devin being able to box and make it a better fight. Now, will he win? We'll see.
He had success with getting points, but he didn't. There was never a moment in the fight where it was like Devin was in control. It was a domination, and then it was like 6 or 7 knockdowns. 4 of them wasn't even counted. The ref was in between clutching and holding. Like, it was a beating, man, and I don't need to see it. I don't need to see a rematch because, I mean, at what? No belts involved. And at 147, I mean, Ryan's got other stuff.
I mean, we're just.
And Devin Haney's still a champion. He's still a champion. Yeah. But, like, he got other stuff to do. Go fight them other champions. But I believe Devin Haney wants to lead that weight class as well because that weight, it killed him. That weight drain killed him, man.
No, I agree with that part. The weight drain killed him, but I think we had to just agree to disagree on the fact of the rematch because I feel like if you had some success and something went wrong, you know, you just happen to get hit with something, then there's a couple of things you could clear up to where that fight will look a little different. Now, when people were talking, like I said, about Spence and Crawford, I'm just a Spence fan. You know, I want to see the rematch because I love Spence. But as far as somebody giving their analysis that Spence didn't do anything to show it would be a change in the rematch, I mean, I can agree with that analysis. You know what I mean? So we'll see. So segue in, we're talking about the futures and stuff. Huh? Oh, segue in talking about the futures and both of these fighters. I know you were just talking about Devin Haney, possibly not Devin Haney, but Ryan Garcia possibly going to 147. What would you like to see? You know, if you was managing Ryan Garcia, if you was Oscar De La Hoya, what would be your next move?
I mean, I just to chill out for right now. And if you do go to 147, I wouldn't be worried about fighting a champion because the belts don't matter. If you do go to 147, acclimate yourself to the weight class, fight a lesser opponent. Don't go to 147 and say, I want Jaron Ennis. I mean, there's no sense in that. Not right now. But if Ryan wanted, he can get it. But I just don't want to see him get hurt or nothing like that. It's like you don't take full advantage of what you just did to Devin Haney. That's what I say, dude. Don't take this victory and then run right into defeat. Get gassed up and run. It's like
so. Are you fully against? Would you be fully against him attempting to try to make 140? Oh, yeah, it's like a foregone conclusion. You wanted to move up.
I don't want to see Ryan at 140. He can't make it. He can't make 140. He ain't never fought it, so he can't make 140. So. Yeah, I'd rather see him at 147 and acclimate himself. Go fight some of the other top guys outside of Jaron Ennis. Maybe get a Conor Ben fight, something like that. But, just stay away from Jaron and you'll be all right at 147. Go fight Mario Barrios or something maybe. I mean, it's a couple things you can do at 147. We'll see. But Devin Haney, I say he should stay and do what he do with the belts while he's still champion. If he can make the weight. But if it's going to kill him, then I guess he got to do what he got to do.
No, I feel that, man. For me, Ryan Garcia, I know a lot of people are going to start saying, what about Tank Part 2? And, you know, the issue with that for me is the fact that Tank's going to put stipulations on the fight as far as from a rehydration clause and, you know, a catch weight, and you won't get the best Ryan. You won't get the Ryan that you seen last night, you know, as far as him having the power and endurance and not feeling weight drain. So I don't see that as a possibility.
You saw De La Hoya. De La Hoya said if Tank wants to fight Ryan, it has to be a 144, 145 catch weight because I'm the big dog now. So, like, you got to come meet me, not me meet you. for the rematch. So it ain't probably never gonna happen. And Ryan moving up to 147 possibly. It's nowhere in the future. We're more likely to see Devin Haney versus Tank or a Shakur fight or something like that now for sure. I think. More likely.
Yeah, exactly. For me, man, if I was Oscar De La Hoya, I would try to check the temperature, see if we can circle back on Teofimo. You know, that fight has gotten even larger now with Ryan getting this victory over Devin. I think if him and Teofimo was able to, you know, come to an agreement, that fight's even larger. And that's a pick 'em fight. You know, both of them very talented fighter. Teo, of course, is a little bit more accomplished, but I would love to see it. You know, that'd be action packed. Both guys cracking. You know, both guys got the Spanish background, so you know it's going to be a huge fight from that standpoint. And then they both have an American fan base, so I think that's a huge fight. That's what I would recommend. I mean, they may not be able to do it at 140, like you say, because of the weight issue with Ryan, but
you can't.
But for the money, though, I think Teo might be like, "Hey, I'll take that voluntary fight at 143, 144."
Yeah. That's what they all do, but they gonna duck Ryan. Ryan already sent half of them guys contracts, man. And what he did to Devin Haney is the reason why they didn't get in the ring with their biggest payday in boxing. So I don't want to hear none of them guys act like they really want to fight Ryan, because y'all had an opportunity before Haney did. Y'all all did. Now y'all don't want to fight Ryan. Just y'all don't. Maybe Pitbull Cruz would, but Teo, I know you scared. You ducked him and went and fought Jermaine Ortiz when you could have been fighting Ryan at the week of the Super Bowl. Come on, man.
So talking about, you know, some of these cats getting in the ring, I think us as the fans, man, we got to take some of that on us. You know, Devin Haney was, you know, big enough to get in the ring. Ryan Garcia was big enough to get in the ring with each other at 25 years old. And these two guys that are in their prime. But, you know, when you look at social media, how they trash the fighter and talk junk about them and, you know, call them bums, that's what makes some of these fighters reluctant to get in there and put their O on the line, man. So, you know, we got to praise these guys when they want to have these type of fights. So that way we can see people like Teofimo and Ryan in the ring.
I'm all for it.
Other great fighters. You know what I mean?
Ryan's been on both ends of that, man, because after Ryan lost to Tank Davis, they crucified him, man. He was a bum. He's not even a real boxer. All this other stuff. And that, like, he had to go through and battle through that. And Devin Haney's at that point now where he's going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to go get a fight, like a Sandor Martin fight, get his flow back, and then get a big win after that, a big win. And I think it's very possible. Like, it don't set him back. I'm just talking how I'm talking because of the Haynites and all them other guys that was out here talking online and riding and just giving him attributes that he didn't have at the moment in time. So,
but yeah, that's the I think that's one of the big issues, man. Like, a lot of casual fans, of course, you want to have your casual so you can make the money, put butts in the seat, get the pay-per-view buys. But at the same time, those casual fans are the main ones that talk junk. And like I said, just make it reluctant. You know, if we go back to the old days, the 60s, the 70s, and 80s, you know, cats was taking L's left and right. And, you know, we still consider them the greatest, you know, some of the greatest boxers who's ever lived. And I don't know where the tide kind of turned. I mean, I guess maybe around the Mayweather era when he came about, to where guys just started really wanting to protect that old. But I think we need to get back to the old school mentality, man, and just get the best of the best in the ring, and, you know, whatever happens, happen. But us as fans, we're gonna benefit from it. So I think we should appreciate it.
I say boxing cleaned it up in the last 2 years with the top guys fighting the top guys. In the last 2 or 3 years, we've been getting a lot of top guys fighting top guys from different sides of the streets, different promotions, all types of stuff. So, I mean, boxing's doing a lot better than it had done in like the past 10 years with outside the Mayweather and Pacquiao fight, with putting big fights together with top guys. So I'm really excited, man, for the rest of the year coming forward and stuff. Like, man, we got a lot to look forward to in boxing.
Hey, exactly. You know, anything else you want to touch base on as far as the fight from last night before we, you know, kind of segue into what we got coming on the horizons, man? Like you said, we got some big fights coming up, but I want to make sure you get your last word, because just to be upfront, I do owe a ticket of $100 to Rich losing this fight. So, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that cash app to him, man. He was 100% right on this fight. So right now, he's 1-0 since we started the SlugFest, but that'll probably be his last win for the year, to be honest.
Hey, I don't know, man. I might be on the road this year, man. You might be on the road,
man.
You ready to
so just last words, man.
So you ready to talk about some of these other big fights we got coming up on the horizon?
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. Just last word, man. Overall, I think last night was a success. Definitely shocked the boxing world, but hats off to Ryan Garcia, for putting on a great show. Devin Haney for being a warrior, stepping in the ring. That's what us as fans want to see. Let's see more of this. And, I can't wait to see what's on the horizon for both of those guys. But segueing into the last part of our show, we got some big fights coming up, man. I think the next biggest fight is going to be that Canelo and Mungana fight. That's going to be on Cinco de Mayo. I think it's in Las Vegas. Huge fight. Mungana is an undefeated fighter. I think he's kind of been moved around strategically. He hasn't really had too many big names that he's fought. And I think he has about 30 to 40 fights total, somewhere in that range. Completely undefeated. But the guy has skills. I seen his last fight. He definitely has some talent, high punch up output, got some power. But he may be a little bit too green for Canelo at this point in time. What's your thoughts on that fight?
I pretty much see Canelo walking through him. Jaime might put a little resistance up, but it'll be futile. Canelo's just going to walk. He's going to be walk down Canelo machine. And it's gonna be a beating. He might even knock Jaime out if Jaime get in the exchange. So, yeah, I don't expect Jaime to really even to be there like that. I don't think it'll be a close fight, but it'll be a good fight. It's gonna be a fight because they both will get dirty. I know Canelo will put his head in there, but I don't think Jaime's gonna be able to deter Canelo. He's gonna walk him down and do what he wants to do. Foot forward, head down.
Yeah, to be completely honest on that fight, man, I'm excited that it is a pretty good fight, two good talents, but in reality, Canelo's fighting the wrong Mexican. You know which Mexican we want to see him in there with. We want to see him in there with the Mexican monster. The Mexican monster, baby.
Yeah, he knows better. So it's like, yeah, Canelo should win. Most people probably pick Canelo. He'll probably be highly favored. But, it's great for Jaime in his career for him to get tested. But it's just a little stepping stone for Canelo. It's nothing. So,
Exactly. So moving right along, man, next month coming up in a few weeks, we got the big boys, man, the big dogs, undisputed fight. We got Tyson Fury taking on Alexander Usyk. That's going to be a huge, huge fight. I think, is that fight in Saudi? I think it's in Saudi Arabia. Is it?
Yeah.
Or where's it at?
Yeah, I think
it's in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, right. What they call it, Ramadan or whatever, Ramadan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out there.
So that's a huge fight, man. This fight was actually supposed to happen on February the 17th. About a week or two before the fight, Tyson Fury got a nasty cut on his face while he was sparring one of his sparring partners. So they had to push the fight out a few months, but it is coming. So what's your thoughts on that fight?
To me, it's the biggest fight that we've had in boxing in the last, since the Mayweather and Pacquiao fight. This is the biggest fight in boxing for historical reference because it's for it's undisputed heavyweight champion, and we ain't had one of those since Lennox Lewis. And I just think it's great for boxing that we're getting this, like it's here, like it's crazy. So that's all I'm excited about. My pick is Fury, but we'll probably dive in a little deeper into that. But yeah, great fight, man. Great for boxing. This year is fantastic for boxing, man.
Yeah, you already know we're gonna do a breakdown on their fight. So as they get closer, we get to the week of the fight, we're gonna do a full show and definitely highlight that fight. But it's definitely an amazing fight. I think it's the first time in a long, long time that all four belts are gonna be coming together and going to one guy, plus the the Ring Magazine belt, that'll be on the line as well. So there's a lot riding on this fight. I've been waiting on it for a while. You already know who I'm going with, Usyk, just to let you know in short. But we're going to give that breakdown on why I think Usyk's going to do the boy dirty. But nonetheless, man, Tyson can win that fight. I'm definitely not super strong on Usyk winning it, but right now I'm leaning about 55-45 Usyk way, maybe 60-40 at the most. But that's a hell of a fight coming up. So we're going to do a deep dive on that for sure.
Yeah. For sure, yeah, that's the one I'm waiting on.
We also got another one coming up. I know you think this fight is going to be 100% one-sided. I think it's going to be a little interesting. Lomachenko versus George Kambosos in Australia.
The Matrix.
Yeah, man, Loma's definitely the favorite. Not too many people picking Kambosos. Like, I'm not really picking Kambosos to win the fight, but I do think he's going to make this a ugly fight. He's going to try to get in there and make it real rugged and muck the fight up. So I think it should at least be entertaining. But, in the end of the day, I probably agree with the rest of the crowd that Loma's going to walk away since he's a lot more skilled. What about you? How you feel about that?
I mean, it's about to be a straight outclass. He's about to get in there. Kambosos is about to get outclassed, and like I said, Lomo about to show where they stand in the 135 weight class. Because Kambosos, he don't belong in the same conversation with Shakur Stevenson or Lomo. He don't, and I'm glad Lomo's going to put the beats to him, and get him out the picture, man.
Hey, I feel that, man. We'll probably do a small show on that. I don't think it's too much to talk about on that one. That's kind of a one-sided fight, but at the end of the day, I think Kambosos will give us a little bit of excitement. So moving right along, man, we got the big card coming up. I think it's about a month away. What is it, June the 1st? We got Bivol versus Betraviv. That's the Matchroom versus Queensberry card. That whole card is fire.
The 5v5, baby.
Yes, sir. And I mean, it's some great fights on that entire card. Not even talking about the main event, but this is probably the card that I'm most excited for. That's on the horizons because we got, like I say, Bivol versus Betraviv. I think Wilder and Big Bang on that same card.
Yeah,
Wilder and Big Bang on the same card. Raymond Ford and Nick Ball on the card. So I mean, that's a crazy card, man. I'm definitely excited for that. How you feel about that?
Card. That's going to be a violent card. It's going to be violence all on that card. Violence.
Exactly. And that's also in Saudi Arabia as well, right?
Yeah, the Saudis, man, they're killing it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely putting their stamp on boxing, and they putting up some good fights, man. And, they're not putting up no mid-level fights. They want to get the very best and putting them out there. So
I appreciate the Saudis.
Tip my hat off.
Yeah, to the side. I appreciate them coming and clearing up the heavyweight division because that's what they really helped do, is clear up the heavyweight division. Because without them right now, I don't know where the heavyweight division would be. Because before Saudis got involved, it was everywhere. But now we're getting them big boys fighting. We're getting them in the ring with each other, and I love it.
As far as the Bivol and Betraviv fight, how do you feel about that fight? You feel that's going to be one-sided, or you think that's going to be give us some fireworks?
That's going to be fight of the year. That's going to be fight of the year in my book. Outside of Tyson Fury and the Usyk fight, that Bivol Betraviv fight is going to be fight of the year, and I got Bivol waging it out, and probably ended up stopping Betraviv in the 10th.
Hey, straight up. I think it's going to be definitely a hell of a fight. Bivol's definitely the more skilled guy, going to be more fundamentally sound, technical, but I don't think he's ever been punched as hard as he's going to be punched by Betraviv. Boy, that's stone hands. So I want to see how he reacts when he gets hit by somebody that punches as hard as stone hands, and that's going to be a fire fight.
I feel like he has been punched by somebody that's just as strong, and that was Canelo, and he made easy work of him. So I believe Bivol's special, man, and he's about to show that Betraviv is really a one-sided fighter, if there ever was one. So, yeah. No, we'll go with that.
We'll
Big
see.
fight though. Fight of the year though. Fight of the year, hands down. I ain't saying Bivol won't touch the canvas. I'm just saying he'll get his hand raised.
Okay. Yeah, we got a comment. I think it said, what it say, Ham Dilly. Let me click on it real quick. Ham Dilly, basically, Haney got his ass rocked. Hey, appreciate the comment, but hey, you ain't lying about that, man. He definitely got rocked on more than one occasion, man. Several times. I mean, that left hook was just coming all night, man. He just couldn't see it, man. You know, he might need to go. Maybe he need to go get him some cataract surgery or something.
Fight. I mean, it ain't his fault he couldn't see it. Ryan Garcia is on camera throwing a punch that the camera didn't pick up, knocking the people out. So it's like it's not his fault, man. His hands is fast, man. He's got special speed in them things. Mexican Ali.
It is his fault. If you know you only got one thing to worry about, if we playing football and all I got to worry about is a dive and we can't stop the dive and something's wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could understand if Ryan was out there hitting him with, you know, all types of different punches and then, you know, the left hook just happened to be unexpected, but he knew it was coming and just couldn't stop it, man. So, yeah, he did, but he got his ass rocked. I agree with that. So back to Bivol and Beterbiev on that same card, man. I might be just as excited, if not more excited, for the next fight. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, when Wilder and Big Bang hit the ring, tell the judges to not even show up because somebody's going to sleep. Somebody's going to sleep. This is about to be action packed. Two heavyweights. Both of these guys are known for having heavy hands. Big Zang's a little bit better boxer, or probably a lot better boxer, but Deontay Wilder has the eraser. You know, he's kind of been a little bit passive lately, but I expect him to come back with a vengeance. And I think it was good that he went, 10 rounds, 12 rounds with Parker. So that kind of got some ring rust off. Hopefully he can come in there, you know, put on a show.
I mean,
how you feel about that fight, though, big dog?
I suspect Wilder will. I feel like he's gonna step up, and this is like Big Bang is great, and I want to pick him in the matchup, but I feel like him being so flat-footed and he don't move his head too well. That's right at Wilder. It's gonna be right there all night. His head. He got a big head, man. I don't know if he can take one of those Wilder down the pipeline. So, and if all Wilder got to do is throw at this fight. So if Wilder's aggressive, I feel like he can win this fight easily because of Zhang's style, and he's just right there for the picking. He's right there.
Hey, you might be right on that one, man. I can't disagree with the word you said, man. That's gonna be lit. But
he said,
I want to get to this.
Never quit. Hey, you see that?
Yeah, I want to get to this comment.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're talking about Devin, but Devin didn't quit either, man.
Ali. But what you mean, man? Don't talk like Ali didn't have losses too, man. What you mean he never quit? He said he didn't quit, but he got knocked out and stopped. Now stop it, man.
Yeah, I think we definitely gotta give some credit to Devin and Ryan for getting in the ring. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. But Dev didn't quit. He stayed in there. Yeah. He definitely didn't look good. Now he was taking some shots, but he took it on the chin. Held his head high. Gave Ryan congratulations. I seen that Bill Haney actually put out a video this morning kind of talking about it, saying he wasn't going to duck from the crowd. He ran his mouth before the fight. I'm still here now. So definitely some embarrassment, but, they're taking it on the chin. They're taking it on the chin.
Yeah. What's left of it?
Go ahead, man. But yeah, back to the Wilder and Big Zang. Yeah, that's gonna be a hell of a fight, man. That whole card, like I'm super excited about that. We probably might have to do a couple shows just to cover their card, man. Because like do a main event of all of that.
That card right there is probably gonna have knockout of the year on it and fight of the year on it, more than likely. Like honestly, man, because man, I can see it happening.
I agree. Moving along, another card that I'm super excited about. I want to say it's in June. I think it's mid-June, June 15th, June 16th in Las Vegas. We got Tank Davis versus Frank the Ghost Martin. High level boxing. This is definitely a great matchup in my opinion. You know, some people see it being one-sided. I don't see that at all. I think this is a good matchup. Frank definitely hasn't fought anybody on Tank's level, so I'm not gonna make it seem like he has a resume to where he can lean on. But just based off of his skill set and what I see him do inside of the ring, I think it's going to be the most explosive and athletic fighter that, you know, Tank's ever been across from. And if you just look at the proof in the pudding, you see Gervonta, you know, I think he's been doing a lot from a training standpoint. You know, he's cut down, got a lot of lean muscle. Look like he want to definitely compete from an athletic standpoint and try to give Frank some trouble as well. But how you like this fight, man? You think it's a good fight, one-sided, or it's going to be some fireworks?
I mean, my first reaction to it is thinking Tank Davis is going to walk through. But my honest boxing reaction to it is it's going to be a kind of maybe a tough fight because Tank ain't been in the ring since Ryan, and Ryan done fought 3 times damn near since they fought. So like it's a big test. I guess unless Tank's mind, this is a tune-up, which says a lot about Frank Martin. But it's a dangerous fight to take when you've been out of the ring that long, like with all the stuff Tank's been doing. But we'll see. We'll see if there's ring rust on him a little bit. But outside of the ring rust, I feel like it'll be a dominating fight by Tank. But that's the only thing to play a factor. The skill set of Frank and Tank not being in the ring in almost 2 years, practically. So, yeah.
So, the Ghost, man, in this last fight, you know, it wasn't as pretty as I thought it was going to be. You know, he ended up getting the dub, and he turned it up eventually. It took a long time for him to turn it up. But if you just go back one more fight before that, when he fought Rivera, you know, the guy that looks like Baby Ali, looks like the real Ali and stuff. He don't really fight like him, but he looked like him. You know, Frank, he had his way, man. He tore him up from start to finish, you know, was getting in and out. You know, working the jab as the smaller fighter, the shorter arms, but, you know, he won the matchup with the jab. So Frank definitely got some skills, and I think he can make it interesting. But we're just going to have to see what version of Frank shows up. But that's a good fight, though.
Yeah.
On that, yes, sir. On that same card, man, the co-main, I don't think it's a good fight, but it's definitely probably my favorite fighter out today, who will be on the co-main, and that's the Mexican monster, David Benavidez. Is going to be fighting, I think the guy's name was Alexander Golovkin. I can't really say his name, but he only has, I think, one loss. Who did he lose to, Bivol or Beterbiev? He lost to one of those guys.
I think Beterbiev knocked him out, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah.
But that's been everybody. Yeah, and I mean, David, like I say, he's one of the more entertaining fighters in boxing right now. He's really building his name, and like I just feel like this is a stepping stone for him to get his shot at undisputed that he didn't get at 168, at 175. This fight right here, but I expect David to go out there and make his presence known at 175 during this fight.
Yeah, this is David. Is definitely, I think, the biggest dog in boxing, man. And there's a reason Canelo hasn't made that fight already, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But this is going to be a little bit of different task. You know, his body, he's moving up to 175. I think his body will take it well, but, you know, you got to be able to take those punches as well. So, you know, he'll be taking on a tough challenge while acclimating his body at the same time. And it looks like he's chasing that winner that's going to come out of that Bivol and Beterbiev fight, man, to set that up. If not at the end of this year, maybe sometime early next year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like that's what the plan is.
Yeah, so if he's able to successfully win this fight coming up, you know, depending on who comes out of that fight, you know, David will have some options. Hopefully, Canelo will be done cleared out. Mugana, you know, Canelo could be a possibility. They got David Morrell, who's at 168. He said he's chasing Benavidez. He said, I'm coming to 75. I want that fight. So David got some options, and, you know, all of them are huge fights, you know, fights that I would favor him in, but there is a possibility that, you know, they could get the best of him. So, that light heavyweight division at 175, that's about to be lit and get a lot more interesting.
Yeah, sure. It's gonna be a couple fights we could come out of that division. Even after the Bivol and Beterbiev is settled and done, there's a lot of matchups to be made at 175. It's starting to be a lively division again.
Hey, you ain't lying, big dog, man. But can you think of any other fights that might be on the horizon? I think we pretty much touched on all of the ones coming up in the next month and a half that are worth talking about.
I mean, we got a bunch of fantasy fights and YouTube fights, Jake Paul stuff and other stuff like that on the horizon. But not no big major news that we ain't touched on that we missed that I can think of at the moment, unless there's some breaking news later on this week or today.
I feel that, man. But yeah, man. I guess we just go ahead and come back, and once again, I'm gonna say congratulations, big dog. You definitely called this fight, man. Rich been saying it for months that Ryan was gonna get the best of Dev. I didn't see it, but I saw it last night, So big ups to him. I'm gonna shoot you your bread in a little bit, big dog. But I want you to go ahead and give us the benediction on the fight, man, and give us your last words. We get ready to get up out of here. We've been going for a little bit over an hour, man. Like I say, this is episode 2 of the SlugFest. We'll be coming every Sunday, probably around the same time in the afternoon, 2:00 Eastern. Please tune in, interact. What you got for me, big dog?
All right, with that being said, I'd like to shout out Elevation Sports for having us out here today. And I'd like to give a big thank you to Ryan Garcia for making 2 of the biggest fights in boxing in the past year and a half, and putting the pressure on a lot of these other guys to get in the ring with their peers that are just as good as them, rather than watching from across the street and fighting a bunch of up-and-coming guys and stopping people's careers before they develop. So let's get more of that in boxing, watching the best fight the best, really fight the best, and the outcome being decided in the ring and not on this crooked judging and stuff like that. But other than that, I say peace to everybody and salute to the family, man. We'll catch y'all next episode.
Hey, I feel that, man. Hey, just like you said, appreciate Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyles for having us. Excited to be a part of the family. If you're listening in on the radio, we appreciate you listening in. If you're listening in on YouTube, Twitter, and you can see us, please engage, like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, we'll be back next Sunday, and we're going to get y'all out of here with my boy Protege. All right, we'll see y'all later now. All back.
I'ma need an encore. Scream to your throat sore. Why you think I ain't the go for a king on his 10 toes? At the top, you on the 10th floor. It's over, holla 10-4. I'ma need an encore. My swag, you would die for. You can quit, but no, I won't. Diamonds on my neck, make the scandal let you lie for. Haters think it die slow. I'ma need an encore.